Greetings, fellow Vulcan survivors. Rodamon here. Thank you for tuning in to Stationeers Brutal Vulcan, episode 39, installing a prototype Stirling engine. Alright, looks like the windstorm is done, but it's daytime out, so like I don't want to be out there for a different reason. So as soon as the sun goes down, I'll start, but like the speed at which my suit would cook itself is like too fast. I'm not gonna bother. Right. I also think that our water production is done. Wow, 4 liters even. Giving us 15 liters in the base, plus whatever's in the farm. Alright, now thinking about logic chips again. Now that we have the steel sheets that we need. There's more logic, as Portapane mentioned, which is the, a memory for the external temperature that needs to be read when we run a math. So another mem for the temperature that we run this process at. And then yet another processor to run the math, ambient temperatures versus the memory, and then another logic I/O for the writer. It's complicated, but I'll very carefully walk you through it once it's done, so you're not like left super scratching your head. All right. Another thing is, I'm sure I'm going to need more cables than I currently have, so get them up. All right. Almost 3 kilomoles. Cool. That filter's at 50. Let's turn that off for now. This filter's also at 50, and wow, I have almost 2 kilomoles of oxygen. We make a lot of oxygen up in this base now. And the purpose of that primarily is, I mean, I could do it on a gas furnace, but like it's going to be the advanced furnace. Or gas generator, I should say, but it'll eventually be the advanced furnace. I'm just making sure that I've got lots of nitrogen in the air. 15%. I'm flushing some fresh nitrogen in. The farm doesn't use a lot of nitrogen. It's only 7 soybean plants using it, and it's like, what, 35 times 3... So there's a lot more carbon dioxide being pulled than nitrogen, but still. Okay. Farm's fine. Time for a breathable base? Oh, we have a breathable base. I just, the last time we breathed in this base, it like hurt my lungs. So I wear a suit anyway. Okay, stop. Oh, one more. Even number. And then stop. Oh, almost 50. Whatever. I'm just gonna stop there. Okay. Grabbing the Stirling engine. Grabbing the steel sheets. Put away my mining belt for now. Just remind me that I put it away so I can grab the electronic parts. Cool. Oh god, it's still hot out. Nope, back inside. I don't have an outside temperature meter thingy, but yeah, I don't want to be out in 900 degree. Take a big no thank you. What else can I put away? I'm gonna need more heavy cables. Are there seasons? Yes. That's why it's hot out. Because it's, well, strangely enough, we're in winter, which is the hot season for Vulcan. Short days, super hot. Farm's doing good. There are more heat-resistant suits. So the hard suit would be the more heat-resistant suit. The issue with this is it costs materials I don't have to make one. There is a stopgap of the Icarus suit, which, ironically, I'm going to be playing Icarus tomorrow as a marathon, which I could make. It's a little bit better than the standard suit, but, like, not enough that I care. Alright, let's get the stuff installed. Where is the Stirling engine? There it is. Looks dark enough outside. I hope. Yeah, it's not going to cook me. Cool. So, for simplicity's sake, I'll just put the Stirling engine here, pretty close to the power network for the, where I can hook up to the wind turbine. All right, welding torch. Electronic parts. So there it is. Just to walk you through, the working gas goes in the tank slot here. Once installed, it doesn't need to be swapped. It's installed once and left alone. It doesn't use up that gas. That is not its input. That gas acts as a thermal convection. And ideally, it should be volatiles. Then you have the output, which is the waste gas. And the input, which is your hot gas. So, what I want to do is line this up so that it's scalable. So if I want, I can add more Stirling engines as we go. So I'm going to put a small gas tank here to hold the hot gas. The waste gas here, I will... I don't want to block the tank interaction. Let's go up. I don't want the waste gas to be... No, that's blocking the wind turbine. I don't want the waste gas to be too close to the intakes for the hot tank, because that's a whole different problem. So I want it to outgas, like, away from everything. Oh my god, is it still blocked by wind turbine? Fine. Game says yes, it must be yes. Now, there isn't a massive explosion risk if you set these up correctly. It's just you don't want the working gas canister to exceed certain pressures or kaboom. So that's the real threat. Let's do a 5 long. And I'm probably going to need more of these. So there. We can put the insulated vent output here. It really doesn't need to be insulated. It could have been normal. Like, the temperature of the output gas doesn't really matter. Okay. Now that that's done, the input gas obviously is going to come in here. And we're going to need more insulated tanks because what I'm going to do is set up logic so that when it's hot out, we add gas to this tank. Right? I might... I think I'm going to put it on its own APC. Well, no. Nah. Maybe I do want to separate the data, though. Just so it's easier to set up. Yeah. I'll do an APC just for the data part. Alright. I'm gonna... So, I think what I'm gonna do is put a wall here. Walls here, just to put logic on. So I'm gonna do, like, 3 iron walls for logic purposes. So I can have a logic wall to set this up. There's the active vent. Alright, I'll do flat walls. They just look a bit nicer. So I think I have 1 flat wall kit here, so I'll print 2 more flat wall kits. And no, the waste gas... So waste gas could use turbine generators, but turbine generators aren't very good. I mentioned this before. They don't generate a lot of power, and they're kind of complicated to set up. So I would not consider ever using them for significant power generation. So here's what I'm referring to. Wind turbines require atmospheric air movement, and then... Where is the turbine generators, anyway? Oh, they removed it due to exploits? Oh, okay, fair. Well, that's not even an option. Okay, I need insulated pipes. So I'll just print up another batch of 20. So this is now that we're in Vulcan winter, it's another really good reminder why I went through the effort of having grow lights. Because had we not been on a grow light system, I'll just do 10 for now. The farm would have had a lot of problems because obviously solar power isn't being supplied to the farm as a result of the lack of, seasonal sun. Okay, yep, water is done. Cool. I am not using this battery, so let's flick that off. Haven't even been looking at trade. And these walls, these logic walls, like, also act as like a blast shield in case like I super screw something up and it goes kaboom. I didn't print up my APC because I forgot, because I wanted to keep the data on a separate network just for like brain ease, if you will. So I'll get that going in a second. So this is where I'll active vent intake. Just trying to keep my to my output and intake separated so they don't feed into one another, creating like a poor efficiency feedback loop. All right, the data port of the Stirling engine and the power port are going to be separated. The power port is going to feed to the main grid, but the data port will feed to a separated power grid for the you know, for the system. Oh no, that should be fine. So oddly enough, this Stirling engine is both a power generator and a power user. In order to turn on, it needs a little bit of like starting power, which is the whole point of the wind turbine too. They kind of work in conjunction. So then this data port, the issue that I'm going to have is I need to run an APC from here, and then we can have small cables all the way down to the all the way down to this data network. So let's hook up another APC right here. It doesn't really need a battery. This one isn't battery required. It's just separating out. It could be a transformer or something like that, but it's just to functionally to separate out the two data networks. And an APC just is easier. So it's like a master on-off switch. So area power controller is solder again. Aren't the roar lights coupled to the sun's angle? Yeah, the sun's angle doesn't change. Its seasons is about the tilt, not the angle. The day-night cycle is essentially unchanged. It is just how much of it are you actually getting direct sunlight. Alright, so here's our APC. So, like, the solar angle isn't really any different. Where is my solar angle, anyway? That logic's in the farm now. But, yeah, the solar angle hasn't changed. It's just whether it's in the sky, essentially. I don't know if I can explain any better than that. Alright, suit's good. Let's swap out our waste tank. And now with the APC, we can actually start hooking things up. So this will be a batteryless APC. It doesn't really matter. And I can just leave it off for now. So this cable runs over to the Stirling. Parallel to the heavy cable. Gonna have to do something a little weird here in order to pick up data from the Stirling generator. But the cable's exposed, so it's not a big deal. And then we also want to grab data off of the tank itself, because we're going to want to read the pressure of the tank to know if we're overpressurizing it. And then we have these three very nice walls to hook up all of our data, all of our IC or logic chips. Oh god, it's becoming daytime. I'll try to tolerate as much as I can. Okay, first thing, let's put the sensor in. So this is just a ambient gas sensor for outdoor temperature. And one thing I might want to do is power up my Activent right now, like manually, before the IC, the logic is set up because it's super freaking hot, and super freaking hot air is really nice for to prime the system. So let's take advantage of the intolerable heat and use it. Alright, set inward and on. Oh, yeah, I didn't turn the APC on, though. Guess I should have. Whoa, blades. Okay, so now the tank here should be filling up with ridiculously hot gas. Oh, the other thing I'm going to need is, and let's do this, print this right now because it's kind of time sensitive. I need a drain. I need a liquid drain because pollutant is going to pressurize and become a liquid, much like it does in our other systems, and that gets explosive-y if I don't. Iron, copper. Now that I've run, let's put the mining belt back in. Yeah, it's 1,000 degrees, you know, just chilling out here. Alright, stick a passive liquid drain right there. And that will allow the liquid to boil off. Which there wasn't any, but like, there would have been. Alright. So, gas sensor. Let's start naming these things. So this is Stirling gas sensor. All of the memory units we'll put here, just like a nice spot for them. They're not buried, but they're out of the way. So this is the intake temp, and then Stirling on, and then intake pressure, and we'll have to set values up for those. All right. My waste tank is filling up super fast. And we're gonna want logic readers. I'll just set all the logic readers up on one board. And I'm gonna go eat, hydrate, refresh my tank, etc. And then when I come back out, we should turn off the intake vent. How high can the intake vent push the pressure? It can rupture, but I'm setting up the logic so that it does not. That's why I have all these logic chips, to do that math. That way it can be a set and forget once it's done. Alright, so our current power is okay. Oh. Missed a cable coil. Current power looks fine. Let's just do the water. Oh, no, I die. Okay, shoot. Why am I getting air take warnings with, like, 2% left to, to act upon it? You can see being outside... Oh, that's my air tank, not my waste tank. As you can see, like, Vulcan winters is pretty horrible to exist in. Alright, I'm pretty sure we're going to need more cables. So let's just preemptively print more up. For all the logic. Yeah, pipe limit is 60 MPa before it goes kablooey. And I'm going to want to keep the pressure below that. Or we'll have some problems. And the problem is 60 MPa is a lot of pressure, so when it goes kablooey, it's like very violent and would, you know, screw stuff up. Could I up the pressure in my O2 tank? I could use smart canisters instead of regular canisters for larger tolerance. These have a max pressure of 20, not 10. So certainly that could be a something I do to avoid having to constantly check back in. But I'd rather just set up the Stirling system for power reasons first. I mean, at the end of the day, there's a bajillion things I could be doing. It's just like, what am I working on? I'm working on what gets voted on. Why? Because it was voted on, you know? And yeah, the insulated tank has the same pressure tolerance, max pressure tolerance as the pipes. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. It's like whatever ruptures. Well, as long as it was not lower. Oh, yeah, I should be eating first before hydrating. And as you can see, the bread loaves, like, last a very long time. Oh, good, it's night out. The bread loaves last so long that I don't need a ton of them. I should probably go check in on the farm, just to make sure that I've got more flour and soy coming in. So we have lots of carbon dioxide and oxygen to play with. I'm going to start filtering more volatiles so that I can make water on demand. No storm. It's not so... The wheat is seeded. And now that I have spare wheat seeds, I'm going to re-sow with the seeds. And the soybeans will be ready to go, like, pretty soon. I'll make the flour later. I'm just going to stick this in the fridge for now. I wonder if those... I mean, I don't really care if the ferns decay, because there's, like, hundreds of ferns in my farm right now, so it's, like, not a big deal if it decays. But I wonder how much time is left on them. Also, the intake vent for the Stirling fuel, I do realize I just realized has been running at night, which is not ideal. So I'll take a measure of its temperature and might have to dump its contents if it's wrong. Yeah, that's not... I mean, it's not hot enough. So, I'll just fix it by ejecting it outwards so it's not a violent decombustion. Oh well. Got overeager. Didn't help out. So, let's start pulling data to the readers, because that's pretty straightforward. So let's wire these up. I'm gonna wire them up the lazy, cable-hungry way, because I just don't care. All right, first one. This is going to be the outdoor temp logic reader. And I'm going to rename this to outdoor temp. So, input is the outdoor temp gas sensor, and the variable is the temperature. So now this is reading the outside temperature. Cool. If the outside temperature is below 404, we'll let the Stirling engine run. So I'm setting the memory for Stirling on logic memory to 404. That's like 130 Celsius. Or maybe a little bit more tolerance. We'll do 410. Cool. The air intake logic temperature should be, let's say 650 Celsius to Kelvin. So that would be 923 Kelvin. And then we'll do pressure later. So this is the outdoor temp. Cool. The next thing is we want this reader to be the gas tank. Gas tank pressure logic reader. So the input in that is the... I guess I'll name this gas tank. It doesn't really need it. It's the only gas tank, but Stirling gas tank small. So the input here is the Stirling gas tank small. And what we want there is the pressure. And we don't want the pressure to exceed, let's say, 50,000. So then this is going to be 50,000. Because it blows up at 60K. So 50K is like just some wiggle room. All right. Then the next logic reader. What else do we want to read? So we're reading the outdoor temp, the pressure. Ooh, that's a good question. I guess the way to approach this is to start actually doing stuff with the logic so that it's more obvious what we're gonna... the other logic readers are writers, actually. So let's replace them as logic writers. That's why I was like, oh, I don't know what else I want to read. Because they're supposed to be logic writers. So, this one is a logic writer for Stirling on. And this is intake vent on. Whether the intake vent turns on and the Stirling engine turns on. So the Stirling engine, let's do the processors now. Hot drinks on you? Well, thank you. Cheers. I just took a sip, but sweet. And yeah, we're probably going to want a batch writer for the Stirling on logic writer. You're right about that. Let me fix that. Because then it can't scale otherwise. All right, processor time. So we're going to want compare unit. I'll do one at a time because it will be easier to follow along. So this is going to be the... Let's do this Stirling on. Logic compare unit. Now this is going to throw errors when it turns on and off. That doesn't really matter. So the Stirling on is a compare of the Stirling on logic memory and the outdoor temp reader, so that it only turns on at night, because it's not efficient to turn it on during the day, because the Stirling engine only produces power from the temperature differential between the stored gas and the atmosphere that the Stirling engine's in. So only run the Stirling engine when it's efficient to run, which is when it's cold, or colder than what's stored in the tank. So get that wired up. Obviously, I'm just planning for the rest of the logic, so that's why I have all these extra cables, because I will use them. Alright, and this looks something like if the outdoor temp logic reader is less than the Stirling on logic memory. Yep. That works. And then this is the Stirling on logic compare, so then the input here is the Stirling on logic compare, and the output is all Stirling engines, whether they are on or not. So it's flashing an error only because it doesn't have working gas. But all right, whether the Stirling on engine turns on or not is now hooked up correctly, so I don't need to tinker with that. That's done. Then we want the intake vents. So the next logic compare is going to be for the intake vent for the, let's do ambient temperature, and then we'll do pressure, and then we'll do the and between both of the compare units. So this is outdoor temp intake logic compare. Wow, that's really verbose, but whatever, as long as you understand what's going on. And this is going to be if the outdoor temp logic reader... Oh, and if I turn this on now, it should be 0, right? So this Stirling engine, you know, is not turning on because it's warming up. It's becoming daytime now. So this outdoor temp logic intake, and the other question is, do I still have gas in this tank? I do, but like not enough to matter. It's not even a kilopascal. So off, inward. So if the outdoor temp logic reader is greater than the memory intake vent intake temp logic memory. So if it's hotter than 923 Kelvin, that is a yes. So if the outdoor temp is greater than 923 Kelvin, yes. All right, then the next one, I don't need this tablet, is going to be for the pressure of the tank, the storage tank. So this is the, what was my naming convention? The outdoor temp. So this is storage tank, intake, logic compare. And this is so that we don't overpressurize the system by pulling in too much hot air, so it doesn't rupture. And yes, I could make the cable network here a lot more cheaply. I just, you know, don't need to bother. And I'm going to have to go in soon because it's getting hot. But now that's true. It is hot enough to turn on the vent now. So this is the gas tank pressure logic reader is less than the max, which is the memory, which also should be true. So that's saying that the pressure is less than 50K, which is also true. And then the last one is if both are true. If, actually, I don't think compare makes sense here. Would it be... Well, I could do a compare. Alright, let me go inside for my... because it's now 1,000. Before I get fully cooked. And then we'll finish off that logic. And we're pretty close to being able to turn the thing on. And then, because we want it to scale, once one works, we can set a few up. Yeah, the logic gate has an AND. So we'll probably want a logic gate AND. Thank you for tuning in to Stationeers Brutal Vulcan, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rodamont.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rodamont.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Vulcanites.